gbójúlé kò bínú. Ọba tó ní wá kò bínú láti pè wá sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀. Ìwọ la wá gbójúlé kò bínú.
Oyigiyigi, how I wished. Oyigiyigi, Lord of the heavens, the more than able enabler, creator of all things. How wonderful will it be if the whole world knew your Oriki? How I wish the whole world knew your Oriki. Thoughts and words of a worshipper apparently lost in the praises of Oyigiyigi. Acutely aware of the perceived inadequacy of the solo efforts deployed, this worshipper seeks to recruit the whole world to joy in the adulation, exhortation, and adoration of the immutable and unchanging Oyigiyigi, Almighty Lord of the heavens. But alas, these thoughts and words are typical of songs that grew out of the self-realization that manifested during the period that followed the epoch of cultural nationalism in the Yoruba Christian church of the late 1800s and early 1900s. A period within which early Yoruba Christians saw the need to resort to their unique indigenous cultural values in the expression of their faith in Jesus Christ. The song expresses a veiled regret that many may not see eulogy in praise and worship from the singer's Yoruba point of view. Before the introduction of Christianity to Yoruba land, innovative and resourceful Yoruba Muslim clerics, having encountered Islam as a religion of the book through trading interaction with the Mali Empire, had developed a system for writing the Yoruba language in Ajami, derived from the Arabic script. Before then, there was no known writing system for the Yoruba language beyond the two-symbol alphabetic system of markings on a Yereosun powder used by Babalawo. The markings served the purpose of a temporary memory aid in support of the limited short-term memory of the human species, facilitating information retrieval from a well-organized, catalogued, and indexed collection of large volumes of historical narratives in the form of orature. For the Yoruba, to know and understand anything formally is to have access to the oratorial verses in which knowledge about such a thing is stored. It's Oriki, a piece of text that contains facts about it, as well as its characteristics and functions. Ori is the Yoruba notion of singularity, uniqueness, and identity. It sits at the end of an individuation process based on which a single, unique, and immutable individual person, object, or phenomenon emerges as a describably distinct entity. Orikano, that is a distinct unit, the Yoruba will say. In the same vein, Oriki, as the Yoruba word for a joint, refers to a key spot distinct from the rest of our body. Oriki, a specific point of discontinuity in an otherwise continuous body. Ori, therefore, is fundamental to the individuality and individualism of an entity in Yoruba thought as basis for unambiguous identity and inalienable autonomy. For these and other reasons, it is also the Yoruba word for the anatomical head of living beings and other physical phenomena. Passport photographs, mugshots, and other images used for identification feature in a special way the human face as an information-rich data source for unambiguous identification. The head, as the physical structure that harbors the information-rich face, therefore offers features for unambiguous identification. The head also houses the brain, which is the organ that undertakes all the cognitive activities that define a person. Little wonder that the head takes the same word, Ori in Yoruba, and signifies identity and uniqueness in many other languages. The apparent physicality of Ori as head may sometimes distract, giving the impression that Ori is purely and basically head and little or no more. However, a careful look into the various uses of the word easily reveals that in actual fact, Ori is the essence of a person, an object, or a phenomenon. What makes it it, and without which it is no more it. For example, in making claims to indigenship in a Yoruba community, people are wont to say figuratively, I came to this community by the instrumentality of my Ori, not by walking on my legs. In other words, I did not walk into this community. My essence originated here. To mitigate symbol overload, the Yoruba make a clear distinction between Ori Inu and Ori Ode, roughly translated as inner Ori and outer Ori. The outer Ori is the basis for the outward identity of an entity as dictated by the physical anatomy described as the head in the case of a human being, while the inner Ori is the totality of the unique entity. Ori Inu reflects in Iwa, that is the stand, position, and propensities that dictate a person's character, habits, and therefore fortune or misfortune in life. This is why good fortune in Yoruba is described as Oriire, literally good or positive Ori. It is believed that the inner Ori determines the fate of the outer Ori as expressed in the saying, Ki Ori inu mi ma ba tode je. May my inner Ori not cause jeopardy for the outer manifestation. The Yoruba phrase Orikiki refers to the act of making vital factual references to the essence of a person, an object, or a phenomenon based on the uniqueness presented by its Ori. Orikiki, as references to or description of Ori, suggests that Kiki hints at description. This may be true, but it involves a lot more. The Yoruba word Kiki is derived from the word ki, a verb. The Yoruba language features many monosyllabic verbs, verbs that come in a single syllable, just as the case of ki. Furthermore, these monosyllabic verbs frequently feature homophony, the attribution of more than one meaning to a single word as pronounced, such that its implied meaning in any given use can only be determined by its context of use. Ki is such a monosyllabic verb. Characteristically, ki at one level means to describe, to hail, or to laud. At yet another complementary level, ki is also to compact, compress, and condense. For example, when soldiers march in a parade, they are said in the Yoruba language to be compacting or compressing the earth under their feet. One kile. Interestingly, ki, a tonal variation of ki, implies to be condensed and hence dense. Based on these complementary meanings, kiki, as derived from ki, can therefore be understood as to describe, to hail, or to laud, using highly compact, compressed, and condensed words. Hence, the implied meaning of the phrase orikiki. In normal continuous speech, a competent Yoruba speaker motivated by the principle of least effort, a principle usually applied in all aspects of human behavior, is more likely to say oriki, or even more efficiently, oriki, such that the phrase orikiki becomes contracted to the word oriki. By implication, oriki is meant to be condensed and concentrated, yet detailed description of a unique person, object, or phenomenon in a body of dense text. The English word eulogy refers to speech or writing which praises someone or something in highly evocative words. Oriki is often translated into English as eulogy. Even though oriki regularly features eulogy, it usually goes far beyond eulogy. Though a plausible comparison, eulogy therefore is but a weak interpretation of the Yoruba notion of Oriki, as Oriki can be oftentimes unflattering. Oriki is at the core of the Yoruba knowledge management system. It is the center point of Yoruba orature as the wellspring from which all other oratoral genres of the Yoruba knowledge system draw. As a culture based on an oral tradition, anything and everything that the Yoruba know is described in orature, principally Oriki. This is the context in which our singer, having deployed the best of her solo effort, perceived as inadequate, sought to recruit the whole world to join in the adulation, exhortation, and adoration of the immutable and unchanging Oyigiyigi in the dense text of Oriki. Agbenisaye magbenifaye je. Oyigiyigi, Oluorun, Atobajaye eleda ohun gbogbo. How I wished the whole world knew your Oriki. In African and many other communities of the world that built highly productive civilization and complex social structures around oral traditions, orature is used effectively for the purpose of maintaining collective memory of the community and for productive management of both general and professional knowledge. The griot traditions of Sahelian West Africa provide examples of the documentation of history in orature, and the Ifa system of the Yoruba is an example of the management of deep esoteric knowledge in the Odu as orature. Similar oral traditions to the Yoruba Oriki can be found in various other African communities. These include Izibongo, Isita Kaselo of the Ngoni, Ozonje of the Herero, and the Akan. Also of relevance are the Maboko of the Tswana and the Thoko of the Southern Zoto. The Ngoni people of South Africa include the Xhosa, Zulu, and the Beli. They all practice the oral tradition of clan praises that serve as a cohesive force binding clan members into coherent, compact social units. Clan praises are recited as a means of identifying individual members of a clan and as a form of respectful greeting to deserving individuals. They are also used to express appreciation, for example, in marriage negotiation and for congratulations in formal betrothal and marriage ceremonies. God is experienced in various cultures, and these experiences through the work of his hands are expressed through diverse media. Many Yoruba Christian poets have adapted various poetic forms of traditional oratorial genres of text to express their personal and group experiences of God. For example, Funke Akinokun has attempted to express the praises of God in various languages of the world. Starting with various Nigerian and African languages, she goes on to languages of Europe, Asia, and the uttermost ends of the world. Kunle Omoalaafin stays with his Yoruba heritage, adapting various poetic genres of Yoruba orature to praise God in expression of his own experience of God as a Yoruba Christian.
Olódùmarè o kó kìkì ọba dẹ̀mùdẹ̀mù tí ń rọ́ bí àgbá aránnígbòmígbò kìjikìji ọ̀dà jìnnìjìnnì bógun èṣù mọ́lẹ̀ ọlọ́run mi ìyanu ìyádò akakatirika akakatirika onígbẹ̀dú ògo alùdẹ̀mùdẹ̀mù wòmíwòmíwòmí olórí aríran mojíjó ọlárẹ jìgúnjìgúnjìgún aláìnípẹ̀kún àrágbìrìgìdì tí ń bẹ lóde ọ̀run alùgbàgbàgbà abalẹ̀ hamilẹ̀ abòkè amòkè.
Apart from this and many other Yoruba poets, Lara Familua, a Maltese lady married to a Yoruba, sings her experiences of God's greatness in various languages. Many other non-Yoruba artists and performers have also used the Yoruba language to express their experiences of God, the Almighty.
So when I was listening to it, at first I was like, what what Psalms is that? You know, it's like I thought you were, I thought it was you were reading a psalm or reciting a psalm, and so at first I was trying to figure out. I was like, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, which psalm is that? And I was like, wait, I think that's her song. And so it was very exciting.
Even though I may not understand everything that was said, when we're dealing with Christ, we are all still one. Even though it's different languages, it may be said in different languages, but we're saying the same thing.
It was so touching, so impactful. I felt completely blessed, even though I didn't understand what you said, but it was just so beautiful, so spiritual. I felt so connected despite the language barrier.
It showed, the expression of God in every language, which is incredible. So I think that's powerful.
Despite the power of literature as expressed in its features of precision, permanence, and propagation, the oral mode of communication remains the preferred mode of human communication. With present trends in the development of information communication technology, particularly the facilities of multimedia and speech technologies, cultures that have managed to retain significant levels of their oral tradition have been presented with the opportunity to propagate their experiences of God through oratory modes. The reality of globalization in the now near ubiquity of ICT offers an opportunity to our singer. The perceived inadequacy of the solo effort can now take advantage of ICT to recruit the whole world to join in the adulation, exhortation, and adoration of the immutable and unchanging Oyigiyigi, Almighty Lord of the heavens. Asọmàjèṣín-dàgbà, asàgbàdèwe, asọlọ́jọ́ orí dọlọ́gbọ́n orí, orí ni lọ́mọdé fi ṣe àgbàrán ni, ọgbà kàìnkàìn lọ́wọ́ ajíwẹ̀gbé fájíhọra, a lè jí lè pa, a lè pa lè jí, a lè tú lè so, a lè so lè tú, gbére koni, gbébi fòyàn, asẹ̀rín dẹ̀rí, asọ̀rọ̀ dayọ̀, asèébú dọlá, asọ̀ṣátádẹ̀yẹ, asèpè dọ́là, asọ̀yẹ̀yẹ́ ẹni dayẹyẹ, ọ̀pábídà sọ́bídire. After we started this series of videos early in 2023, there have been various questions and comments, many of which I hardly anticipated. In the next episode, we shall attempt to answer these questions and respond to the comments. As explained in the first episode, I was intrigued by our forebears' depth of understanding of God Almighty, how they managed the knowledge that resulted from their experiences, and how they expressed it in orature. The questions and comments show that I am not alone in this wonder. The discussion as proposed for the next episode will serve to further widen our understanding of God from the point of view of our forebears. Come along as we further explore the unfathomable God, the Almighty. Agbówúrọ̀, agbọ̀nàkan, apataku, afẹ́lógún, dagunró, dagunjà, agbógunlérí, ajagodùgbẹ̀, ajagun má fẹlá, ajagun má fi díje, ajagun má lòdà, ajàmáyìnta, arìntógun tìjà, akọnilógun, akínílé, akínlóko, akínlódò tí mákọni lójó.
Do